Webcast Media Podcast Network.
Hey, ¿cómo estamos, mi gente? Just rocking out to a little bit of salsa there as we come into another Lucha Talk. This is episode 3 of our new show. And guys, ¿cómo estamos? Did you guys watch NXT last night? Dang, was that main event fire or what? Lash and Jakara are here to stay. The Meta Girls are here for a very long time. Bianca and Naomi did their best to put these girls up with the rest of the WWE Universe. And guess what, guys? Thank you. That's the only thing we can properly say. Thank you. Because the way this match came across was a star-making match. This was intended with the purpose of getting everyone who followed Bianca from the main roster to NXT and making sure that Lash and Jakara got the spotlight. Not a lot of people watch the Saudi show because, you know, some people are working during the day. They might have to go back and rewatch it. But a lot of people watch NXT. A lot of people love what the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels is doing on NXT. I, for one, am a massive fan of his. I think he's the best booker in all of professional wrestling. We see it all the time. And I've said this before, and I will say it again because I feel like it bears repeating. The NXT wrestling show has become a women's wrestling program that has sprinkled in men's matches. If you look at the past couple of months, this is a women's wrestling show. It is predominantly women. And that is something that we have been craving for a very long time. Now, I believe that WWE does everything intentionally. I believe that the reason they are doing this is because they want us to crave a women's wrestling program. And that's what NXT has turned into. You look at all of the best programs in NXT. Obafemi's the world champion, right? Guess what? Nobody really cares who he's defending the title against. Yeah. He's facing A-Town Down Under in a triple threat match at Vengeance Day. Cool. You know what everybody cares about? Everyone cares that Julia and Roxanne are going to face each other. Everyone cares that Fallon and Stephanie are going to face each other. Everyone wants to know what's next for Lash and Jakara. Not to mention the Jada Parkers, the Lola Vices. Everyone in NXT has been told, and this is just my opinion, has been told this is our show. And they are definitely doing the best of it because I got to be honest with you. What I saw last night was a history-making moment. I have never been more excited to watch a professional wrestling show than I was last night because I knew the significance of that main event. When I watched that main event, I got a little misty-eyed. I'm picking up my son here in about 45 minutes from school. And I cannot wait to show him this match. My daughter, I get her back from her mom tomorrow morning. She's going to come back here and she's going to say, wrestling? Wrestling? And I'm going to put this match on for her. And she's going to be pumped. She's going to get excited because she loves Bayley. She loves Rhea Ripley. She loves Liv Morgan. She loves Bianca Belair. She loves AJ Lee because we watch AJ versus Caitlyn a lot. We've watched the AJ versus Paige matches. We've watched the Paige versus Emma match a lot. And I feel like that is a moment that you can't take back. Sharing something like this with your children. And I love the fact that I get to share this match because, man, if you didn't understand the moment that we were watching yesterday, you'll never understand. It's that simple. You just won't understand it. You're not allowing yourself to understand it. And if you're not watching women's wrestling, pues qué carajo tú estás haciendo? What are you guys doing? Because it's the most compelling professional wrestling right now. I know I sound like that idiot JD. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to shout at you, but I just want to let you know that women's wrestling is at the forefront right now. This is the best we're going to get. And we got the GOATs coming back to pro wrestling because Becky's coming back. The Queen, Charlotte Flair's coming back. Can you imagine that over the last 365 days, we have had such phenomenal professional wrestling on the women's side, and Charlotte and Becky aren't even there? Guys, come on. That is everything they wanted. That is exactly why Becky did the stuff she did. She went to NXT to bring up people like Lyra and Tiffany. Both of her girls are champions. The people that she put over in her 42-day stint on NXT are champions on the main roster. She was able to walk away. Oh, hold on. Rewind. Wonka style. Burt, Burt, Burt. She also put over Liv Morgan, who had a 280-day reign as the women's world champion. Becky Lynch. 3 people. She walked away and they ran. They took the ball and ran with it. Guys, come on. This is exactly what all of these women have wanted in the past. AJ Lee going out there to accept an award on Monday Night Raw and talking about Bayley, Charlotte, talking about Paige, talking about wanting to work these women of the future, to push these women of the future. And we're actually watching it happen. All of the struggles that someone like Gail Kim made in the past to just have people take women's wrestling more seriously. For TNA for years, because let's not forget that the Knockouts division was the creme de la creme of women's wrestling. It really, really was. Now I went a little bit off the rails because that's not what I was making this show about. But I feel like it's important for someone like myself to talk about this because in our pro wrestling circle, there's a lot of us on here that have decided, let's get some podcasting equipment. Let's talk about professional wrestling. Because a lot of us are introverts. We spend time with our children. But, we don't really talk to anybody else besides talking to our phones. But everybody's talking about the same thing. Everybody's talking about men's wrestling. Everybody. And there's not really many of us that are talking about women's wrestling. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do here. I am trying to become the face of like what you think of when you're trying to get into women's wrestling. Like, oh, let's go to Macho's page because we know he's going to put us onto the best women's wrestling on the planet. He's going to tell us what matches to watch because just like Kelsey Plum said, it's one thing to support them, and that's cool if you want to support them. I support them. But we're not here to support them, guys. We're here to watch them hoop. Kelsey Plum with the quote of the decade. Don't just come support me, watch me hoop. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to watch you hoop. Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Bianca Belair, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, Roxanne Perez, Cora Jade, Lash, Jakara. We're here to watch you guys hoop. Get out there. Steal the show. Because WrestleMania is right around the corner. And we know Miss WrestleMania, Charlotte Flair, oh, she's coming back this Saturday. She's coming back to win that thing. Well, guys, I'm definitely going to give you another video during the week here where I'm going to give you my predictions, my official predictions. Lucha con Macho will give you their official predictions on the Royal Rumble. And I'm hoping to have a guest with me next week. I'm trying to get Patty Reekin from Working the Marks to come over on the show and discuss the Royal Rumble after the fact. So hopefully Sunday, when we do our recap of the Royal Rumble, him and I can sit down and discuss everything we liked, we disliked, and maybe where we see the stories moving forward going into WrestleMania season. But guys, you hear me talking so much about women's wrestling. And what I realize is that wrestling as a whole is being called into question by fans. Now, that's a weird thing to say, right? I mean, someone like myself, I make tons of wrestling content. If you follow me on TikTok, you know. Like I post about 6 or 7 videos a day, sometimes 10. And I post a lot on here. So I don't think that there's any shortage of wrestling, but there's a conversation that needs to be had because there are some content creators out there, there are some YouTubers out there, and there are some wrestling pundits that believe that pro wrestling in a wrestling program is lacking. Now, there's been a lot of people that have taken the time to actually clock how long wrestling has actually happened on a pro wrestling program, and the average has been 50 minutes. So we have a 2.5-hour show on Monday Night Raw, and there was 50 minutes of professional wrestling. And is that enough? I mean, personally, I don't think so. When I think of professional wrestling, I want to watch wrestling, and I think that's what made AEW so popular because they put wrestling first. Now, don't get me wrong. Storytelling is a must. We must sit down and talk about why these competitors are facing each other. You can't always fantasy book. You can do that every now and then. You can give us a dream match. You can give us a once-in-a-lifetime showdown. But we need to know why they're working each other, right? We need to see like some sort of crumbs somewhere. And I think WWE has the opportunity. They have so many storylines in the place. And last week, we had 4 matches on the card. And I really enjoyed all of them. Now, I'm of the mindset that I watched Saturday night's main event, which had 5 matches. Then we had Monday Night Raw, which had 4 matches. We had a couple matches last night on NXT. If you want my review on NXT, check me out on the Biconics later today. I will be with Mikey and Will, and we will discuss the NXT show last night. So I won't do that for you here. But we also have a 3-hour Friday night SmackDown. And then we have the Royal Rumble on Saturday. Guys, there's going to be a lot of professional wrestling this week, but where is the actual storytelling of it? Are you not satisfied with what you're seeing? I mean, I was personally satisfied with what I saw on Monday Night Raw because we got to see the backstage segment with Penta and Braun Breaker. So it led me to think like, oh, is that where we're going? What's Penta going to do? It reminded me that Penta was there because we had gone so long with it, right? And it reminded me like, oh, snap, Penta's here. This is going to be his first Rumble. And I was excited. But we also, got to see the Judgment Day versus the Warriors. And that was a dope match. I mean, look what JD did. I mean, we're going to talk about JD McDonough in a second here, but I don't think that pro wrestling is lacking. But here's what I will tell you if I'm playing devil's advocate. We have the ability to affect change, guys. We really do. Let's look at the last year of professional wrestling, shall we? Last year, Cody Rhodes wins the Royal Rumble. And he gives up his opportunity to The Rock. And fans lose their mind. They start the hashtag, we want Cody. Okay. The WWE gives in. The Rock decides, hey, I don't need to go out there and be booed like this. I'm already super unpopular with the whole Oprah video and then Shazam or Black Adam. I need people to like me again. That's the whole point of my character. And when do they like The Rock more? They like the heel. So the fans got what they wanted. Cody finished the story last year. Now, I stand on this. I do not think that was the original plan, which is why I think Cody's run has been so lackluster, because I don't think they had plans for him going into this year as champion. I don't think he was supposed to win the title yet. But that's my personal opinion. I have stood on that from the very beginning. Sorry about that, guys. That was my alarm. Now, we also begged and pleaded for Dakota Kai to get her shine, to actually get the opportunity, and she got it. She got the opportunity to make it to the finals of the Intercontinental Classic. We asked so much for Chelsea Green to be taken seriously, and guess what, guys? She won the United States Championship. We asked for Jey Uso to win a singles title. He won the Intercontinental Champion. Do you see where I'm going with this? We have the ability to affect change. So if wrestling fans really want more wrestling on Monday Night Raw, do something about it. Do your classic hashtag mini protest. Hashtag we want wrestling. Tag WWE. Let them know that 4 matches on a Monday Night Raw is not acceptable. Let them know that you want more than 5 matches on a PLE. Let them know. Because right now, their match quality has been so fantastic that there's been more of us, like myself, that have actually said, hey, I'm satisfied with what I'm getting because I'm getting longer matches. These people are getting more on-screen time. We're watching a non-rushed segment, so I'm okay. But it sucks when some of your favorite wrestlers aren't getting the shine. But I promise you, if you turn this into a hashtag, if you start protesting, WWE will listen. They have shown you over the past year that they will do so. So make sure that you do that. Don't just sit at home complaining on Twitter and not do anything about it, because they're not going to check the mentions. A lot of people, I realize, they talk about WWE, and then I have to figure out, because they're not using hashtags. Like, it's so simple to type in hashtag WWE. That's a normal thing. Hashtag WWE Raw. Hashtag SmackDown Live. Like, it's so weird. Do the same thing. We want wrestling. Now, before I go, there was a touchy subject that I wanted to talk about here, but you've heard of the word gaslighting, right? You've heard people use this term. And I'm not here to tell you that it's whether it's a popular term, unpopular. I'm not here to do any of that. Here's what I will tell you. I feel like that's what's happening to us right now with the whole Nikki Bella situation. Because I remember how angry fans were when Vince McMahon made her break AJ Lee's longest reigning Divas champion record. I remember how angry fans were that Charlotte and Becky had worked their tail off for years only to have Nikki, Brie, and Ronda to close the very first and only so far women's pay-per-view. I remember people clamoring for Nikki to lose that title. And now they're trying to tell you things like, oh, no, it was Brie we didn't like. No. We liked Nikki. No, you didn't. I don't remember that. Show me proof. That's BS, and you know it. There were articles written about her inability to work in the ring. There were legit pundits that were saying they'll never take women's wrestling seriously as long as she's the champion. That's why when the women's revolution happened, in just Charlotte's second title opportunity, she won the title. And then they moved on from someone like Nikki Bella. She's not Paige. She's not Emma. She's not Molly Holly. She's not Victoria. She's not AJ Lee. Is she a legend of the business? Absolutely she is. Nobody's saying she isn't. But I think what she did was good enough. We don't really need her to come back. If you want to bring her back to be a manager, if you want to bring her back to be an on-screen personality, that's great. But to bring her back to give her in-ring time, to take time away from the women that have been busting their ass, to take time away from people that don't get enough TV time, like a Dakota Kai, like a Natalya, like a Naomi. I'm not okay with that, guys. I'm just not. And I want to remind you that at one point, neither were you. And I understand the nostalgia aspect of it. That sounds great. But let's be real here, guys. We were never super pro Nikki Bella. But we do love you. I mean, thank you for everything you did in the business. I don't want to diminish what you did. Everything you did, all of the struggle, all of the 30-second matches, everything you did to help get us to this point, 1000%, you have earned it. You've earned a WWE Hall of Fame. You've earned a real fan base. You've earned the respect of the fans. I mean, all of that. Guys, if you enjoy my content, please follow me at the links below. You can see our YouTube page here is growing quickly. I mean, just last week or just the other day when I did this one for you, the Lucha Talk 2, we were at 1,400. We're almost at 1,700 YouTube subscribers now. I really appreciate each and every one of you. I got some great things in the works here. Got some merchandise coming. So that'll be exciting. Once I get my very first wrinkle of merchandise, I will make sure to showcase it here for you, put the link of where you can purchase this stuff, where you can get your own merchandise from the same company, because we're all about helping small market shops. And this one is I am teaming up with a small shop in Puerto Rico, because obviously I'm all about my country and I want to be able to provide and help that brand as well. So thank you so much for everyone for listening. Please subscribe to our Spotify as well. And until next time, guys, que tenga buen día.